7 minutes after 8 o'clock, right, the Premier League season is now just under 3 weeks away, can you believe that? I'm delighted now, welcome, unbelievable Andy, to the show, West Ham manager Sam Allardyce. Big Sam, good morning Sam.
Morning Samuel.
Alan, Andy, how are you?
We are good, Sam. Sam, good. How has the last few weeks gone, Sam, pre-season, how's it gone?
Well, we took a trip to New Zealand, only just got back on Monday, which was rather a trip too far, should we say. I think that taking the journey 30 hours or so was probably a little bit too far. But over there in New Zealand, looked after us fantastically well. The games were well organised, picked up a few injuries, and that was probably the biggest disappointment. But now we're back, looking forward to this weekend, where we go to Germany, play Schalke and Malaga over the weekend. Get back into training again, Sampdoria at home, and then the big kick-off the week after again. So looking forward to that.
Sam, with the World Cup, what are the differences for you in your preparation for World Cup year? What's the downside of that?
I think the downside, really, this time for us, Andy, hasn't been too bad because we've had very few players on World Cup duty for us. You know, I think that it's a very easy pre-season for us compared to all the bigger clubs that will be receiving the players back spasmodically through the World Cup campaign. You know, if and when they got knocked out. You know, because I think it's sort of generally across the board that players need at least 4 weeks off. So a lot of the big clubs will have a small group of players back whenever they started back who didn't play in the World Cup, and then it progresses from there. From our point of view, we hope that when we play those bigger clubs, if it's in the early part of the season, there may be some fatigue still left in the players after such a big competition, and maybe take advantage of it.
Sam, huge blow, Andy Carroll. Can't believe it. And whatever people say about Andy, you hear all these rumours. Listen, he's got to be absolutely gutted himself. 4 months we're hearing, Sam. What has he actually done, Andy? Because it just seems a long time for me, 4 months.
I think that, and obviously I'm no specialist in this area, but just on what the specialist has said, he's tightening up the ankle, which is the ligaments around the joint, I believe, which is the mainstay of why Andy needed this operation doing. So it made the ankle stable again. It was unstable by the fact that I think that probably the ligaments that were around the joint were a little too lax, and they've been tightened up to give him more protection. And I think that we hope that's going to be the end of it. And everybody, talks about how disappointing it is, and like it is for me and everybody else at West Ham, but no more so, as you said, than Andy himself.
Oh,
it's an absolute
he's got to be
for him,
He's got to be distraught, It's just one after another.
Sam, what about the business you've done already this summer? Are you happy with it?
Yes, I think that we've gone out and tried to obviously improve the strength and depth of the squad. I think that we've tried to go a little younger. I think that's important today, like you mean, so they can be with the club for a period of time. We've been interested in just this last couple of days, Oakley signing Carl Jenkinson from Arsenal on loan.
How's that going, Sam? How's it going? Okay,
I hope it's going to be completed in the next 24 hours. So we'll hope that's going to be okay. We've got young Quixote from Anderlecht and Aaron Cresswell from Ipswich, who was the players left back of the season for the PFA dinner. So I think that he's a good young prospect. And Zayati from Argentina, who scored 18 goals over there last year. So a little bit different dynamics on the front line. Got Gus Poyet's young son from Charlton.
Diego, isn't it?
Diego. So. And we've a little bit more to go with the chairman, talking with the chairman the other day, and 1 or 2 more players that we're looking at, and hopefully that will give us the firepower. I think it's the firepower we're looking for, a little bit more goals, a few more goals.
Everyone's talking about attack. West Ham are too defensive. We're not going to see Real Madrid in the first 3 games, are we? You can't just suddenly wave a magic wand and suddenly you're an attacking football team.
Well, Alan, it's a misconception that really, because it's our chances created are right up there in the top half of the Premier League, but our conversion rate is the real problem. So the conversion rate left us in around the bottom three. So we were poor at converting our chances and not converting them has been the big problem. We scored 40 goals last year. We clearly want to try and score more than that this time round, and that will give us a better position.
And the ambition, top half this year, Sam?
Yes, we'll try and hit the top 10, Andy, again, or better if we can, like we did in year one. I think that last year became a little bit of a burden at times by the fact we did so well in year one. Everybody expected us to do better. Injuries, a bit of second-year syndrome. We all know what that's like. At the end of the day, 13th wasn't a bad finish on the basis of some of the things we had to suffer that season. And like I said, all down to trying to get a few more goals with a good, resilient defence again, and we'll be okay next season.
Sam, couple of London derbies to start with. You mentioned you spoke to the chairman. As far as you're concerned, Sam, you just can't wait for the season to start. There's not a problem, is there? There's been one or two things said in the papers, leaked out, and as far as you're concerned, your relationship with the owners, the chairman, you're just getting on with it. They're backing you. You want more players in and bring on the start of the season.
Absolutely. I think that all the speculation was put to bed. It's arisen occasionally here and there again, but I think that here I am grafting away with the owners, trying to bring the best players we possibly can to make the squad stronger and better for next season.
And realistically, Sam, Andy and I were just talking about what looks like the top 7, not in any order, but to break in or get anywhere near that 7th is almost near impossible with the big clubs. So your finish last year, if you can improve it by even one place, would be a bonus.
Well, you've got to remember that it's only season 3 for us. I think that the expectations today sometimes get run away with everybody. It's year 3 back in the Premier League. I think that we're moving forward in the right direction. We have to spend our money wisely today. I think that's the most important thing. And grow sustainability by getting a little better each year. Each time you grow in the Premier League to get a little better, you can finish that a little bit higher, but eventually you do try and hit the top half of the Premier League, but that today all depends just on how much money everybody else is spending. The huge amount of fees that are being bandied about on some of the players today is pretty frightening, and to compete with that is sometimes difficult.
And Sam, what about you? We look back at this from Blackpool, where it all started as a coach. From Blackpool to now, where you are, the juice is still flowing, still as excited about the beginning of a season as you ever were?
I think so, because I think that life becomes, it's never easy as a manager, but life becomes a little easier the more years you progress, Andy, the more experiences you get, the more things you see that you've seen before when they raise their ugly head, and they're not quite as difficult as you perhaps saw in your younger days. And when you've come through your apprenticeship by working through the lower divisions, I think when you finally get to the top end, which the Barclays Premier League is the top end, you use that experience an awful lot, and that helps you get as much enjoyment out of the game as you possibly can, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Sam, everyone asks me when I talk West Ham about Morrison and the potential he's got. If he just knuckles down, Sam, gets on with his game, he's got tremendous potential. Is it fair to say that, if he does that, then he'll be part of West Ham, part of the plans?
Well, we thought we'd brought Ravel to the forefront of his abilities this time last season. He had a fantastic pre-season. He started the season exceptionally well. I think that drifted away somewhat. He ended up with QPR on loan and ended up helping them get promoted.
Yeah,
he's had a little injury where he's had a bit of a hernia operation, which is obviously going to help him. So if he gets back to knuckling down and getting used to the discipline side of the game, then his talents are, absolutely outstanding, and that's all Ravel has to do. Just has to make sure he knuckles down to the discipline side of the game and training, and then expressing the abilities he has on the field of football, and we'd all love to see them.
Yep, so hopefully mature, we're a little bit older, more games under his belt, realise, what a lot of young kids don't realise, football's such a short game. They don't realise that sometimes it's too late, and you think of the years that you've wasted.
No doubt about that, Alan. No regrets at the end of it, isn't it? When the football career finally comes to an end, and we all look back on our football careers, and when we're in our early 20s, think there's a long way to go, and you click your fingers and it's nearly all over, isn't it?
Yeah. Great first game, Sam. No love lost. West Ham against Spurs. You went to Spurs, White Hart Lane, and beat them. So that's a real mouth-watering start.
It is. It's going to be built up to a great start to the season for us all, particularly the West Ham fans, and they'll be expecting me to repeat what we did last year.
Yeah, good luck, Sam. No pressure. That's right.
Never mind, that's have to wait and see.
Sam, you have a good couple of days before the start of the season. You might...
All right.
Sam, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks,
cheers, guys.
Sam. Cheers, mate.
Sam Allardyce there. There you go. We've read a lot in the papers. Sam seems upbeat, doesn't he? And
He always is.
Yeah.
He's a football man now. You know that. He's a football man. He wants to get on with it.
And the opening games, Tottenham home, Palace away. So